function. The function.
Go right there behind me, though.
Right there behind me, though.
I don't got chrome on, though, but I do got net on. I mean, all right. Damn, I played bad again.
Stop. You can't farm that one.
Okay, we'll get started with Auburn. Coach Pearl, if you give us a couple of opening thoughts, and then we'll go to some questions.
Well, I guess the first thought is there are 4 teams in the country that are left, and Auburn is one of them. And so we couldn't be happier. I want to congratulate Michigan State on an incredible year. We saw them in Maui, and they were good. But I don't know that when we saw them in Maui that you'd look at that team and say, hey, they're going to go 17-3 in the Big Ten. And they did. The Big Ten was good. And I thought Tom and I talked before the games. Our teams kind of mirrored each other in many ways. The way we defended, how hard we play, the way we try to, dominate the backboard, so on and so forth. But I felt going in that we were better. I felt like I had better players, and I felt like we, and that's not a criticism at all. I told our guys right now, we haven't beaten a team yet that I thought was better than us. And that's why we're the overall #1 seed. And now we're going to the Final Four where there are 4 1 seeds. And I think the 4 teams that are advanced, I think they're the 4 best teams in the country. That doesn't obviously always happen. So Janai Broome stepped up again. Just keep doubting him and keep thinking that he's not going to be able to get to another gear. And one of the reasons why I'm on him and my son Steven's on him pretty good is because I know what he's capable of. I know what he's capable of. And he talk about delivering again at the biggest moments. Just last thing is just grateful for our fans and our families because Auburn looked. We are a football school. We are. Don't ever forget that. We're a football school. We are, but we are also an everything school. Okay, we're an everything school, and our fans. Represented really well here in Atlanta.
Okay, questions for student athletes only at this point. We'll go back row on the right on the aisle.
Emmanuel Gallagher, the Crush Sports Talks. Johnny, talk to us about it. You come out of the locker room, Janai, my man, I'm sorry about that. Fans went crazy when you came out and you got that 3-pointer. How was that feeling for you to come back out in that half?
All glory to God. When I came back out, when I hit the 3-ball, I called him again. You got to always call on him. He's going to always deliver.
Down front here on the right.
Robbie LaStellaBracteria.org. Chaney, you and Dylan kind of had to man the paint while Janai was out. What did you guys do to kind of keep everything calm while Janai was out and keep the lead? You guys, I don't think, let it go back under double figures.
Credit to Michigan State because they have incredible bigs. They're real physical, and we just had to continue playing tough. When Janai went out, my heart dropped, but he came to me and Dylan and was like, you might have to finish this for us. So we were just like, all right, we got to lock in and continue being tough because, toughness wins in March.
Back row on the left.
Coach Sudu Upadea, Fox 5 Atlanta. So much was made out of your comments.
First, student athletes.
Oh, student athletes first. Well, Janai, I'll ask you the same question. Coach yesterday mentioned that you guys were more the underdogs than Michigan State, that they weren't the underdogs, and so much was made out of those comments. Was that like a motivating thing for the team? You just said that he just said he had the better players, but how did you guys take those comments, and was that kind of a way to motivate you guys?
Michigan State is a historic, amazing, great team. Tom Izzo is a Hall of Fame coach. He wasn't lying. That's a great team we just played. And it had to motivate us a little bit. Obviously he knows the type of players he has. He knows how to motivate us. So, shout out Michigan State again.
Third row on the left on the aisle.
Michael Giddens, War Report, Auburn. Janai, yesterday you told us after you scored 22 and 16, you felt like you didn't play well. What did you feel about your performance today?
I played all right.
That's it.
I mean, we won, so I'm happy we still dancing, man. All glory to God again for, allowing me to be healthy.
Third row on the right.
Mike Griffith from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution for Tahaad. How do you think playing in the SEC prepared you for what you've seen in the postseason so far?
Obviously, the SEC this year was like a gauntlet, so every night we had to be prepared. It wasn't no easy game, so I just feel like coming into March, especially a tournament like this, playing every team you probably will, we were prepared for it because we played against everybody.
Far right on the fourth row.
Chaney, Pat Forty from Sports Illustrated. I'm wondering, what did you do when you went to the locker room? How were you checked out? And what was your level of concern when you were back there?
I went to the locker room. We have a great support staff. I checked my arm out. Doc said, nothing's wrong, you're good. Nothing serious. So at that moment, I just want to help my teammates. And if that's coming back out and playing and, hitting one shot and, grabbing the rebound, man, I was going to do it. If that was just, sitting on the sideline supporting, I was going to do it. So I came back out and, Dylan needed a break, so I went in for a couple minutes just to help us win.
Two questions here on the left, fourth row.
Hi, good evening. William Bazone for WGXN News. This is a question for Tahaad. Talk about that three that you hit in the second half with about 11 minutes to go on that little swing play, and the crowd went crazy. Just what was going through your head in that moment?
Definitely happy to see one go in, but just hearing the crowd and the energy, go up after that shot, I feel like that just changed the momentum of the game and just helped us keep the lead that we needed.
First row on the far left.
Chaney, Bill Troche, Sporting News. Can you describe the feeling when you were standing on top of the ladder?
Man, words can't even describe it. The fact that this team, who's been working so hard from the time we got here to, even the first time I talked to Coach, this was a part of our plans, a part of our goals, and still on top of the ladder in front of, all the Auburn fans still being there, traveling, and, witnessing it as well, and, looking down and seeing my teammates, the whole Auburn family. It just means the world to me to kind of be able to deliver for, Auburn family.
Back row on the far right.
Jerry Humphrey, AO.com. This question's for all the players. Florida gave you guys your first conference loss this season. How motivated are you guys for that rematch in the Final Four?
Chaney, why don't you take that one?
Florida has a great team. And yeah, they was good enough to beat us at home. So, we just got to go game by game. It's another team in a way of us getting to the national championship. So, we just got to continue putting our head down, continue staying humble, continue staying hungry. Just go out there and play with great effort and great energy.
One more for the student athletes on the third row on the left here.
Michael Giddens, War Auburn. Chaney, your coach has described you as the hardest working guy on this team. In fact, there's a machine in the weight room. I think you own every record in it. Can you reflect on your work to this point and what it feels like to see all that hard work pay off?
It's the machine with you lift. It's like the robotic machine.
One in the back corner.
No. Well, fact check, Dylan did break my record.
No.
So he number one and I'm number two and I think I'm number three. So
yeah, 4 and 5. I'm like 8 and it's like Dylan, Chaney.
But
Take a break.
just all glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He's blessed me with such a wonderful opportunity. So I can't take it for granted. That's why I work so hard. I just want to be the best player I can for my team. So that's why I put in all the hours. And, I haven't been playing as well as I want to play, but, I'm blessed with another opportunity to play against a great team in San Antonio. So,
Hopefully you show up.
it's got to, yeah. Like Tahaad said, hopefully I show up. But
Nah, he gonna show up. Believe it.
He has no choice.
Thank you guys. You guys can go back to the locker room.
War Eagle.
That's War Eagle.
Oh, got me. Got you.
Just see it in Janelle.
War Eagle.
Good job. You want to take your tags?
Yeah, take your name cards.
Come on.
No, what that shit right there, more advantage.
Name up bump right now. They spelled your name wrong. I got your look.
Okay, let's start with Coach Pearl, far left on the fourth row.
Hi, Bruce. Good evening. William Bazone for WGXA News again. Just talk about in the second half, you had some guys in foul trouble, some injuries. I know you've been pretty, you've kept an 8-man rotation for most of that series. Was there any point where you felt like you wanted to go deeper in the bench or felt like you had to?
Well, I think that when Chaney went out, I immediately thought about Chaney and Dylan, and neither one of them were in foul trouble. And so I knew that we were going to be fine there. I might have to use some timeouts to be able to just give them the rest that they needed. And if Chaney had probably not come back out of the locker room, I probably would have gotten a timeout. It was not going to affect us defensively. Chaney and Dylan can obviously do what needs to be done on the defensive end and rebounding. And my guess is when Chaney was out, we hung in there because we probably made it difficult for Michigan State to score.
Pat on the far right.
Bruce, Pat 40 from Sports Illustrated. Did you get a diagnosis from the team doctor? Was it hyperextension or anything? And is there anything that he will be limited doing in the next week?
Yeah, Pat, I didn't get any diagnosis. When Chaney came out of the locker room, I hadn't talked to the doctor, but I just asked him, are you good to go? He said, I am. I said, well, get your ass in there. And so Dylan was ready to come out. Dylan was kind of calling the bench. And if Chaney had not come out, I probably would have just, called a timeout. I think we won't really know until tomorrow and see what that was. Whether it's a slight hyperextension or whatever it was. Obviously, the doctors were able to examine it and determine that there was no damage. I bet you it'll be pretty sore tomorrow, though.
Front row right here on the right.
Hey, Bruce, Robbie LaStella, Bracketeer.org. There was a lot of conversation yesterday about the building of your team, mixing portal and returners. After now winning this game and seeing your guys battle through that injury and step up, what's that feeling like for you now?
Well, I think that both are important. There's such a foundation in this team with Dylan Cardwell or Chris Moore, guys that have been there 4 and 5 years. And then Chaney has been there 3 years. And I think that one of the things that they talked about yesterday was I told these guys, look, I'm going to bring in good guys. So you bring in Chaney Johnson, you bring in Denver Jones, you bring in Chad Bickham-Mazzara, and it tells the guys that are left, he did bring in good guys and guys that were willing to make sacrifices and, want to try to become a great team. So we'll continue to recruit really good high school players that want to be coached and developed, and we'll continue to jump in the portal and get guys that, want to be an Auburn man and play the way we play.
Third row on the left on the aisle.
Michael Ginswar, Warport, Auburn. Coach, Auburn basketball is a program you built brick by brick since 2014. Can you reflect on your conversations with your AD, John Cohen, about the things you've needed to get Auburn basketball back to this point?
Yeah.
You got Chaney to return. You're going to have the same challenge getting Tahaad to return probably next year. What is it that you need to build a successful program in today's college basketball?
Well, I think if you look at my staff, you'll notice that guys have been with me for a long time. Stephen Pearl's been with me his whole life, okay? And, Stephen has been on our staff for 11 years in lots of different ways. He could have left several times for head coaching positions, but he wanted to continue to help his father, and he stayed loyal to Auburn. And, together we make a great team. Chad Pruitt's been with me since we got the job, right? Mike Burgomaster came as a graduate assistant coach after being a manager at Miami, and I was able to demonstrate. He was able to demonstrate to me his knowledge and his feel for the offensive end, and so we elevated Mike. Got a chance to actually be an assistant coach last year. I think Mike's been with me 7 years. Ian Border's been with me 6, 7, or 8 years. Maddox Jeffries started as a manager. He's now my director of basketball operations. Probably been with me 8 or 9 years. So you don't see that continuity in staffs. Ira Bowman, came from Penn, and guy from Jersey, probably come out to Auburn for a few years, get a couple of good players. He hasn't left. Stayed here, raised his family here. So Auburn is a special place. It is a it's a special place. I've liked every place I've lived. Okay, I've never liked any place more than I've liked Auburn, and so that's how the program is where it's at because of this staff. I did not do it. And then the support that I get from John Cohen, John has built the finest athletic staff since I've been there, okay? Now, Jay Jacobs hired me, and without Jay Jacobs, I would not be at Auburn, and Jay's one of my dear, dear friends. John has put together our marketing guys are incredible. Our business guys are incredible. The academic integrity, and John Cohen was a great baseball coach who understands what it takes. And, with his leadership, and I think the other thing too is the trust that Dr. Roberts has in John Cohen. John Cohen runs our athletic program, period. And Dr. Roberts is our president, and he just is smart enough to let the experts do what they do. And John has been great support to me and great advice and great counsel, and we've absolutely done this together.
Let's take these two, and then we'll be done.
Coach, looks like the first time since 2014, 2 SEC teams in the Final Four, only the second time since you were in the SEC when you started at Tennessee that's happened. What does it say, I guess, the SEC, this historic role continues? What would you say about the season and what the SEC has in the Final Four? Well, Mike, how the SEC does really matters to me. It genuinely matters to me. It starts with Mike Slive, who was a great, great leader in the SEC, and unfortunately we lost him way, way too soon. But one of the great things that Mike Slive did was he had his number one was Greg Sankey. And so when we made that transition to Greg, the hardest thing Greg had to do was replace himself. And our league office is just really, really, really strong and got great leadership and really smart people, and it put this thing together. Basketball wasn't holding up its end. It was Kentucky. It was a Billy Donovan coached Florida team, and then every now and then maybe Arkansas would have a run, or Tennessee would have a run, whatever. There are now 16 basketball programs in the SEC. They're all committed to being competitive in men's basketball. The fan bases. I mean, we did not play on the road this year except maybe once where the game wasn't a sellout. And so, I just the league has done a great job, and unfortunately, there will only be one SEC team playing for the national championship on Monday.
Last question, far right on the back.
Jerry, I'm for the third AO.com. Bruce, the 17-0 run you guys went on in the first half, how important was that to the tempo you guys played the rest of the game?
Well, I think if you're watching that game and you're at home and you're playing against Michigan State, you're playing against Tom Izzo, and to watch our guys execute offensively and get great looks and go, this is, and one of the things that I stress to our guys, we benefited greatly by not valuing possessions against Michigan in the first half. We were sloppy, we were careless, and fortunately we got it going in the second half. But we knew in this particular game that was not going to be an option. We got to our spot, we fought for our real estate. To only have 2 turnovers against a Michigan State defense is obviously, really good. And I just think our guys, they've trusted us with a game plan. And one of the things that we just talked about, if we do these things offensively, and then if we do these things defensively, we're going to win the game. And they did, and we did.
Thank you very much, Coach.